Hi math guys, we are going to be working on the inside front cover of our new book that we just put together last week, Ratios, Rates, and Percents. The topic we're going to learn about this week actually doesn't have its own tab, and it's kind of a prior knowledge type of topic before you can get to all of these, and it's something that each one of these tabs will use. So we're going to spend a lot of time on it just to make sure we get those basic understandings down. So I'm actually going to write the notes for this on the inside front cover of our Ratios, Rates, and Percents booklet. Okay, so we're going to be working with GCF and LCM. So GCF is greatest common factor. And we're only going to look at this part today, and then we'll add on to these notes with LCM a little bit later on in the week. So, greatest common factor. You have to understand what a factor is first. So, factors are numbers you can multiply together. To get the number you are looking for. Okay, so when you have a multiplication problem, I'm going to use 2 times 2. We all know that equals 4. Each one of these numbers here that are multiplied together are your factors. So the numbers that are multiplied together at the beginning of a multiplication problem are your factors. Your answer is a product, and we're not going to necessarily worry about that right now, but the product is the answer. The two numbers that are multiplied together are factors. Now, when you're finding the greatest common factor of something, you are going to be using two numbers to compare each other with and find what is not only a common factor that they have in common with each other, but is also the greatest number or the highest number that they have in common with each other. When you're finding the greatest common factor, you're going to list all numbers that can be multiplied together to get the number listed or shown. So let's say the problem gives you the number 18, okay? What are some factors? And what I do is when you're finding greatest common factor, I always set up a little table here like this, okay? If I'm trying to find the greatest common factor of 18 and 24, I'm going to list every single number that can be multiplied together to get these numbers here. So I know 1 and 18 can be multiplied together. I know 2 times 9 can be multiplied together. I know 3 times 6 can be multiplied together. And that's it. 4 and 5, just because those are the only two numbers in between this last pair. They can't be multiplied together to get 18. So those are all of the factors for the number 18. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the other number, 24. I know that 1 times 24 gives me 24. I know 2 times 12 gives me 24. I know 3 times 8 gives me 24. I know 4 times 6 gives me 24. And because there's only one more number in between these two that cannot be multiplied by anything to get 24, I know I've listed all of my factors, okay? So now what we do is we find ones that they have in common with each other. So I know they have 1 in common, okay? I know they have 2 in common. I see they have 3 in common. And I see they have 6 in common with each other. But now, what is the greatest common factor they have with each other? Well, the greatest one is not 1, not 2, not 3, but it's 6. So the GCF of 18 and 24 is 6. That's the greatest factor they have in common with each other. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line underneath this here. Those are the only notes we're going to take on GCF today. And then you're going to open up your textbook, your math textbook, to page, now we're going all the way to the beginning of the book here, to page 8. So before we do that, pause this if you need to finish this. Otherwise, I'm going to move this or cover this up with our textbook. Okay, then page 8 in your textbook is what we're looking at now, down at the bottom here. We are going to be doing the got it problems down at the bottom. So we're going to find the greatest common factor of 12 and 66. So what I do is I draw my table. I know they don't give you a lot of room here. 12 and 66. And I'm going to list every single number I know that can be multiplied together to get 12 and to get 66. So let's do 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, and that's it. Now 66, 1 and 66, because it's even, I know 2 and 33 can be multiplied together, and I always go up. So I go to 1 first, 2 most likely can be a factor of a number, and then I go to the next number, 3. And I know 3 can go into this, 3 and 22. 4, can 4 go into 66? No, it can't. 5, no. 6 can. 6 and 11. And now I know that the numbers 7, 8, 9, and 10 in between these last two factors I listed, none of those can go into 66. So I know I'm done. So let's look here. What is their greatest common factor? So I see they have 1 in common. They have 2 in common. They have 3 in common. They don't have 4 or 6 or 11, so 3 is going to be their greatest common factor. Okay, 18 and 30. We already actually did 18 in our notes here, so I'm going to look at my notes and just copy those down. 1 and 18 can be multiplied together, 2 and 9, and 3 and 6. But now 30, I'll zoom in a little here so you can see a little better. 30 can be 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 times 10. Can 4 go into 30? No. 5 can go into 30. 5 times 6. And because these two numbers are next to each other, I'm done. I found all the factors of 30. So now let's look and see what they have in common. I see they have a 1 in common. They have a 2 in common. They have a 3 in common. Oh, look, they have a 6 in common. Their greatest common factor is 6. So two numbers may have multiple factors in common with each other, but you're trying to find the highest number or the greatest number. 32 and 48. One times 32. 2 times 16. Can 3 go into 32? 3 can't go into 32. 4 can go in. 4 and 8. What about 5? No. 6? No. 7? No. And then we're already at 8, so we're done. So 1, 32, 2, 16, 4, and 8. Okay, let's look at 48 now. So 48 has 1 and 48. It has 2 and 24. 3, let's look and see. Can 3 go into 48? You can go in once. Is 3, 18, ooh, 6, 18, 0. It can go in there. So 3 and 16, 4 and 12, 5, no, 6 times 8 is 48, and that's it. So let's look. They have a 1 in common. They have a 2 in common. They don't have a 3. They have a 4 in common. They don't have a 5. No 6. They have an 8 in common. And 8 is probably going to be their greatest common factor. So let's write 8 over here. Now, if you need to use your times table when doing greatest common factor problems, go right ahead and do that. You are more than welcome to use that. Okay? All right. That is all we're going to do for the notes and practice today. Your homework is going to be page 10. you are going to be doing problems 1 through 3 on page 10, and it will be listed on the assignment here, so you can see it written down also. But page 10, 1 through 3, and page 11, 1 through 4. One, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let me know if you have any questions.